Hi, my name is Sarah Avery, and I am the Executive Director of Quanta Change. So, do you ever feel like nothing works for you? Like, no matter what you say or do or how hard you work, you just aren't getting the results that you really should for the efforts you're putting in? Have you even tried therapy or some kind of self-help work to try and change this awful pattern? And yet, well, that's not really working either. If so, I know how frustrating this is, how frustrating it is to look around and see things working for everybody else, it seems like, but not for you. But if this is your experience, you are not alone, and it is not your fault. It's because learned distress is the root of this problem, and it's stored in your brain in a way that really most methods that we try can't really get at. So learned distress is the Quanta Change term for the feeling that you absorbed very early in life, that there's something wrong with you being just the way that you are. And learned distress becomes the automatic generating force behind all of the negative situations and patterns in our life. So what that means is that learned distress has been churning out throughout your lifetime this awful pattern of nothing working without you saying or doing anything to create that. Really, that's how it works. So maybe you're wondering, I'm smart, I work hard. Why haven't I been able to change this, to overcome it? Well, it's because learned distress is stored at this very deep feeling level in you that makes it inaccessible to your rational thinking brain. So that's to say that just understanding the problem better or thinking differently or doing things differently cannot get at that deeply held feeling that there's something wrong with you and get rid of it. So in other words, you cannot think or do your way out of your learned distress. But I have good news, because Quanta Change, the work that I've been doing for the last 22 years, was actually developed to address this issue, to get to that deep feeling level and peel off layers of learned distress permanently. So when you do, your natural well-being expands to take the place that learned distress was sitting. Your well-being is the feeling at your core that you are just great being yourself. And that includes the feeling and the ability, the genesis of that experience that things really can work well for you. So as well-being takes up more space inside of you, it becomes the generating force behind more and more of your situations and patterns. So just like learned distress has been churning out this pattern of nothing working, well-being starts to bring about situations in which you do have things work, in which your efforts do pay off, and in which you do get the appropriate outcome for your efforts. So this really is how it works. And I've been seeing this work in my clients and myself for more than 2 decades. So let me give you an example of what that looks like. So this client is someone who had felt most of his life like nothing worked for me. That was his experience over and over again. And he was in this really complex point in his life where he was retiring, he was documenting his job and training 3 people to take over the job he'd been doing. And he was also moving several states away, buying a home for the first time in his life. And this was in the middle of the pandemic and in a really skyrocketing housing market. So, think about how many things could have gone wrong. A lot, right? So he started working piece by piece through this, and he was just shocked at so many points in the process where he'd say, it's working. It worked out. It worked out really well. This is not how things usually go for me, Sarah. This is really weird. But I wasn't surprised at all, because this is what I'm used to seeing from the Quanta Change process. So if this sounds like some kind of change that you would like to experience for yourself, the first thing to do is get a free personalized report from my website that shows your pattern of learned distress. There are 6 patterns of learned distress. They are called the idealist, the perfectionist, optimist, caregiver, defeatist, and dictator. And So to find out which of these patterns you have, you're going to go to my website and take an in-depth, scientifically validated personality test that measures your learn to stress. And I'll send you a report that shows your pattern of learn to stress and the kinds of positive change that people with your pattern typically see from the process. So I hope that you'll do that today, and I will be back soon for another way in which Quanta Change really can help you feel good being you. Thanks so much.